Illinois Hidden Gems, where we do the digging so you don't have to. Today, we're talking about the College of Media and what aspects of it that even some of its students aren't really aware about yet. We're interviewing Mike Bowman, an IT member of the College of Media, to find out what's really hiding downstairs in Greg Hall. Mike, can you tell us how you started working in the College of Media, like IT area? Like, how did
Sure.
you end up there?
It's probably been with the college since January of 2012, and the college had just recently created the Director of Information Technology position because they wanted to have a little bit more technology leadership than just, like I say, keeping the lights on, so to speak, with IT. So I have staff that takes care of a lot of the lab management and fixing faculty and staff computers and those kinds of things, which frees up some of my time to also look at where are we going in the long term and where's technology going to make sure that our faculty are ready to be able to do things, that the students have the tools they need, and all that goes together.
All right. Is there any particular program that you really enjoy out of everything?
I think my favorite program is Evernote. Evernote is primarily marketed as a note-taking tool, but they kind of brand it as helping remember everything, and their symbol is an elephant. I use it for taking notes in meetings, keeping track of web pages that I find that are interesting, journal articles, publications, taking pictures of things I need to remember, even doing audio recordings too, like a voice note or that kind of thing. And so that way, later, if I need to find something and I can only remember, well, I know I was in a meeting with Steve, and we talked a little bit about video editing. Well, if I search for Steve and video editing, I can find that note. Whereas before, when I used to just use notepads, forget it.
Yeah.
trying to find the right notepad with the right note is almost impossible.
That's very cool. Do you encourage any students that you see to try to use Evernote? Because I've never heard of it myself.
I actually use it.
Yeah?
It's a good program.
Yeah. If a student came to me and said, "Hey, do you have any suggestions for like class notes or for other things?" then I would definitely suggest it. And they actually have a suite of things that go along with it. So like they have a whole bunch of apps on iPad and Android. There's one that you can do drawing in, and it'll put the notes into Evernote. There's one that lets you can do like screenshots or take pictures and do markup. So there was one case where you're trying to think of how to rearrange an office, and trying to describe it is a lot harder than taking a picture, drawing circles around things and arrows and all that kind of stuff. And I can do all that from my iPad and then just send it over to the person. And then it's also in my Evernote too, so it's all together.
That's awesome. I think you just sold me on that one. But going off of that idea, if you ever are working with any students at all, or just kind of with students in mind, like what kind of things does the College of Media offer with like resources? Like what kind of things do you really enjoy to promote to students?
I think the thing I'm actually looking forward to the most, because there are some things I do promote right now, but the thing I'm looking forward to the most is a space we're going to be putting some new things in over winter break into room 9 in Gregory Hall. Right now it's kind of more of a traditional classroom with desks around the outside of the room and a center table for the instructor. And what we're doing is we're putting in, they call them collaboration tables. We're putting 5 of them in so that up to 4, maybe even 6, if they sat close together, students could sit around the table and they can all plug in their laptop or device or whatever. And there's also a computer built into the table so that they can then work on group projects or collaborate for other things that they're doing together. It could be a student organization even. And so I'm really excited about that because it's going to also enable, even in class use, some different things that right now there's a few other classrooms around campus that have some of it, but for the College of Media, it'll be the first classroom that we have that has some of those capabilities. Of course, there's other things too, like being able to have a lab just for our students. We do provide for all of our students some level of printing that's available every month, as well as we do have an equipment checkout room, which have some limited things in, and we're trying to hopefully expand that. We had to get some other things done in terms of expenses and stuff this summer, so I didn't get to add as much equipment as I wanted to. But we have some things in there now, and we'll be adding more to it as time goes on.
Okay, very cool. Is that what's going to be called the Commons?
Is that what it's going to be, or is that kind of like a separate entity?
Well, there's the College of Media Equipment checkout room.
Yes, of course.
So that's what's here in Gregg Hall, and then there's the Media Commons, which is at the undergrad library. And that's a joint effort of sites and the library. And since it's the undergrad library, they're open almost 24/7, whereas we really can't staff a room 24/7. So for our checkout room, we're generally open there from 2 p.m. until 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. I can't remember for sure the time on the top of my head, from Sunday through Thursday, and then Friday afternoon. And so that way, we get a lot of students that way. But then for students that maybe need something outside those hours, then they can go to the Media Commons at the library as well. And that's located, if you know where the Espresso Royale is in the undergrad, it's like right opposite there.
Yeah, I've definitely used it before, but I was always curious about how it differentiated with the College of Media and just the undergraduate library in general.
Yeah, I'd like to. So they have different restrictions and rules. So it's like for us, we can do more specialized equipment. So like for journalism students, which are likely to have like their TV cameras that they use for their TV courses, so that they can get them here as opposed to going all the way up to Richmond Studio to get them. And then also, I know the undergrad library for like some things like laptops and the like sometimes doesn't let you take them out of the library, which I think we can probably get to the point of being able to do that for our students.
So I see that you guys have a lot of plans coming up, and there's actually a lot of things that you're saying right now that I didn't even know about, and here I am, a senior in the College of Media.
A lot of these things are really only new in the last several months. So in the time since I started back in January of 2012, we've made the labs more accessible. We've got the checkout room for equipment, whereas before basically professors would do that as part of their class, check out equipment. So like the multimedia journalism class at the start of the semester, everybody would check out a camera from the professor and keep it for the semester. And so now instead of them having to use a whole bunch of class time to do that, and the professor worry about repairs and replacements and that kind of stuff, the students just work with us.
That's very.
And that's all stuff that we actually really got fully going this semester. So yeah, it's pretty new.
That's awesome. All the younger kids have a lot to look forward to then.
Yeah.
For all of these different technologies, like the renting stuff and like the working with stuff, are you going to have staff present to like help people learn how to do it? I'm sure that it'll be at least to an extent, but have you guys like talked about that idea?
That's one thing that right now we have a pretty small staff in the College of Media for IT, and it's one of the things that the library, because they're obviously a much bigger entity because they serve all of campus, they have a few more resources for. So if we'll certainly try to help anybody that has a question, but if they need, say, I need an introduction to how to shoot video well. That's something that we don't really have the expertise in.
Yeah.
And so we would either suggest they talk to their professor for a recommendation of somebody to talk to, or even a professor, or they could also go to the Media Commons. They definitely do that kind of thing there.
Okay.
Over at the library.
Is there any cost for renting any of the equipment from either the Media Commons?
Only if you lose it or break it.
Okay. So don't screw up with it.
Yeah.
I have a few friends who are in journalism, so obviously still in the College of Media, and sometimes it seems like the way that she talks about products, that it's so strictly College of Media allowed, or if you wanted to rent something from here, or if you wanted to come and use like what you're planning for after winter break, like that huge like room with everything, is it going to be someone in the group has to be from the College of Media, or like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the way it'll be set up is that if you are a College of Media student, your iCard will let you swipe into the room.
Okay.
So if you've got, if you're working on a project for a history class or something like that, if you've got somebody in the College of Media, you could use that room.
Okay.
And there's actually, for group projects too, there is the Sites Lab in the English building has some similar tables to that too. So for those that aren't in the College of Media at all, there's some options as well, at least for that part of it. And actually, one I think important distinction to make is unless you consider renting, you can still do for free. Is that it's really loaning, so it's not. There's kind of like you asked, there's no charge involved with borrowing the equipment or anything.
Okay, very nice. Is there any way that you guys are going to, I guess you can say, like market the idea as soon as everything is together? Because I know I've had classes before where we've actually spent one whole day of class time in the library, like trying to learn about all of the resources that we can use. Or you think you're going to do something similar?
Yeah, since this is the first semester, we've got things really fully online, and what I'd like to do is let that mature a little bit to make sure that things are working like we want them to. And then I would imagine that next year in the freshman orientation class that all freshmen in the college have to take, we'll have see if we can get onto the syllabus for that class to talk about that. And then of course there's at least that part of it. There will be a website, and even currently exists, but it's not fully. All the features aren't fully there yet. equip.media.illinois.edu will be the website for all those. At the very least, right now, that website has all the hours and that kind of thing on it.
Do you guys have any major like goals, like one utmost like huge goal about what you want all of this exposed technology to do for students? Like, do you think it's going to like really change the way that like projects might be?
Well, I mean, it's the way where I see people have different approaches to IT. There are some people who take the approach of making sure classes can run and making sure that faculty have the things they need for research and the students have the resources they need to do homework, class projects and the like. But for me, it's more about, and one of the things that really appealed to me about the College of Media is I have an interest that goes beyond just working in IT in the College of Media. That I actually worked for an ad agency before I came to the university. I'm a news junkie, so and I'm interested in the future of journalism. And so as I look at the things that we're doing, I see that we can play a role in the broader kind of media literacy and digital literacy of our students. And so, in fact, one of the things we did just recently on that was we had a workshop last week on how to protect information that you are trying to send to other people, as well as how to be anonymous online, primarily in the context of things like the Edward Snowden leaks that came out this summer. But even broader than that, I could see somebody working in an ad agency wanting to make sure, because corporate espionage is getting to be a bigger thing these days. And so, if you're working either as a freelancer or you're working in an agency, you want to make sure that the person you're sending an email to is the only person that can read it. Then, knowing how to do some of those more advanced tools can be kind of useful. It's not going to be needed in every case, but it certainly can be useful. And so we're actually looking at, we're going to have a class next semester being taught by a couple of us in IT on security and privacy for media professionals. And then we're also talking about getting involved with we're involved in lots of classes, but we're also talking about another class that we would teach starting in the fall, more broadly around digital literacy for media professionals.
That's fascinating. You guys do a lot more than I really thought you did. And I'm very interested even in that course for next semester as well.
Yeah.
Are there any other workshops you provide, as you were saying with the privacy workshop you offered?
So far, we don't have any right now scheduled. It was one of the first ones that we saw as having interest that goes beyond just students or beyond just faculty and staff. But we would like to offer more of those, especially around things that maybe students aren't aware of around campus. So like the box.com service that's available from campus, and some of the other things that that maybe students aren't aware of that they can use for for their communications with their instructors, with group collaboration, all of that kind of stuff. Because it's there's obviously a lot of tools out there, and it can be pretty daunting to try to figure out which ones to use.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little more about specifically about some of the tools that you just mentioned that are popular with students, or maybe not popular, but things that you would recommend for students that really don't know about them?
Well, Box.com is certainly a big one. For that one, it's just it's similar to a Dropbox.com, in that you can upload your files to the cloud, as they say, as well as have them synchronized with your computer. And actually, a lot of tablets and smartphones can do the same thing, also synchronize the files. And the universities contract with them. Even everybody, including students, gets 50 gigabytes of space, which, unless you're a media student, with lots of video and audio, is going to still get you quite a long ways. I'm trying to think of what other ones there might be. Actually, the place that students don't often know about is the web store, webstore.illinois.edu. There's a lot of things that are on there that are free to students because they're a student at the University of Illinois, as well as other things that are at a pretty steep discount. Everything from Microsoft Office to Adobe Creative Suite, at least for now, until the Creative Cloud fully kicks in. and a lot of other things too, as including like antivirus is another big one too that's useful in there.
Well, it looks like that is all the time that we have for today. So we're going to go ahead and pass along a thanks again to Mike Bowman.
Other than that, we are all set. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Illinois Hidden Gems. To find out more about Mike Bowman or what goes on at the College of Media, stop into the Communications Library today. Tune in next time to see what else we can unearth. Illinois Hidden Gems, where we do the digging so you don't have to.